Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Riverside Fire Information Update. My name is Michelle Fiddler. I'm a Public Information Officer with the Southwest Area Incident Management Team. Tonight we have a few updates for you from different members of our Incident Management Team to give you a status update on the current fire situation. We'll be monitoring your questions online tonight. You can also find our information online on INCIWeb. We have phone numbers available there for you to give us a call as well. We'll go ahead and introduce our first speaker tonight. Jake Nuttall is with our operations section to give us a fire update.
All right, evening everybody. Jake Nuttall, operations section chief trainee with Southwest Incident Management Team 1. Give you a little bit of operational update, but first we'll kind of give an orientation to the map. We got the Glen Haven, Moala area right here, off to the southeast of the fire, Colton and Estacada, so to the west and to the northwest. In addition, we got the 26 corridor, and then of course got Timothy Lake over here, and then our southern boundary of the incident. So want to give a couple updates really on the south and western corner. Currently, we actually have, actually not right there, we got line all the way around to include through this area and ties into where we're actually showing some containment. Currently, we actually have boots on the ground. So boots on the ground includes engines, crew bosses, or crews, dozers, heavy equipment. And then also included is some of our aviation assets that we had ability to utilize if needed throughout the day, which would include some of our helicopters, our drones, and then other air entities that would be able to give us some infrared. So be able to detect the heat along some of the lines. So essentially, we're working really hard to be able to get more containment through this area. What that means is that we're really trying to shore up those edges and be able to get it to a point where we're comfortable just having a few people monitor that area. So essentially, this area right here, we're putting a lot of effort into it right now. Right in this area where we're actually showing a lot of the containment line, which is the black edge, we've got resources just monitoring these areas. If they do see any smokes, hot spots that would be a direct threat to a line, then we would actually have those resources be able to go extinguish that stuff out. So really working hard on being able to make sure that we're getting all these lines, interior heats, just basically mopped up. In this area, what we've done is we've created an indirect line, and it ties in to the Abbott Road, which is really directly in the middle of the two wilderness areas. So it's an old Abbott Road that comes all the way through. And one of the big successes today, there was an old rock slide in there. We were able to get that completely repaired. In addition to this road system that we're going to use as an indirect line, what is ended up happening is the old roadbed, as we've gone through and improved for access for our engines, our equipment, and our hand crews, is that we've actually got it to the old roadbed system. So a good solid roadbed. That way we have all of our safety measures improved. In addition to, so we're going to continue the work in here rehabbing, but now we have access all the way through. In addition to, we come down the road system, and this is the 57 corridor. Most of you may know this area, but essentially we've been working really hard on getting this all prepped and ready as an indirect action. And we've got about 6 miles completed so far over the last 3 days. In addition, it really comes down to about this type of location. That actually ties us in to the Lion's Head fire with the other incident management team with all the direct line. So we got about 6 miles completed. We're still going to be working hard over the next 4 to 5 days, being able to get all of this indirect prepped and ready for any type of need of burnout when the time is right. Not saying that we're going to be doing this anytime soon, based off of the fire activity interior within the wilderness area and down in the southern edge. We've utilized what we call our air attack to be able to evaluate if there's any hot areas next to the line, adjacent, right on the edge that could cause us any challenges or issues. If those are identified, we'll use the helicopters to be able to help us out, keep those areas in check as we come around the incident. So keep in mind, wanted to make sure to tie in this little spot here. So this is the Beachy Creek, so our Southwest Incident Management Team 2 is down here. So we've been in coordination with them also on some of these indirect edges. The one thing I want to point out, just because we have a line established here does not mean that we are not paying attention to this area. What we are doing is, again, continuing those efforts aviation-wise from our air TAC and from the helicopters, making sure that we keep all of this in check. So we don't see any advanced southern fire movement. And it really gives us the opportunity to not only have all these lines completed, but it also gives us the opportunity, as you're going to hear from the weather folks here in a minute, to be able to really have that checked up and take advantage of our moisture coming in. So outside of that, again, just for the areas to the north and the west and to the southwest, a lot of efforts going in. We know where the evacuations are at right now. We're working really hard with our partners to be able to get everything shored up, to be able to allow for a good opportunity for people to be able to repopulate. So essentially, that's your operational update.
Hi there, my name is Christian Cassell, incident meteorologist on the Riverside Fire. I'm here to serve the incident management team to help make informed decisions so that they can make informed decisions on both safety and on tactics with this wildfire incident. So I have two primary weather concerns over the next few days. The first deals with the winds here. Here's our weather matrix, and I work with this with our up-in Stuart Turner, who will be up next. To come up with a visual representation that's easy to read and easy to see, kind of see where our problem areas are going to be weather-wise for the next several days. So big weather concerns, not so much fire weather, but definitely a safety concern with regards to winds and rainfall over the next few days. Tomorrow, let's talk about the winds first. So out of the south to southwest, they'll be picking up tonight. Become quite strong tomorrow and tomorrow night. We could see gusts 30 to 50 miles per hour at higher elevations. So with these highlighted areas here, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, but especially tomorrow evening, the big concern with these winds of 30 to 50 miles per hour gusts is blowing down those fire weakened trees and those snags. So that's a huge weather concern that we'll be keeping in mind here the next few days. The other concern, look at all this green here. The next few days, we're expecting quite a bit of rain. So by tomorrow evening, we expect moderate rain to develop. Could be fairly moderate, again, moderate to a heavy intensity during the evening hours. Could get a quick 1/2 inch to 1.25 inches, very possible. Just through tomorrow night into Thursday morning, and then for Thursday, and then into Friday, looking 0.1 to 1/4 inch with possibility of higher amounts there. So we're looking at quite a bit of wet period, high humidities, but again, big concern, the winds. And then with rainfall, especially tomorrow night into Thursday morning, but generally throughout this wet period, we're going to be concerned. Burn scars do not absorb rain, they repel rain. So we'll be looking at the potential for debris flows and rock slides or mudslides. So that seems to be a lower potential, but it is there. In terms of the potential for a flash flood watch for the burn scar areas, please follow weather.gov/Portland. They would be the ones to issue a flash flood watch there. And I am in close collaboration with them. As we go beyond Friday and Saturday, we will start to see significant weather pattern change We will start to see high pressure develop towards Sunday into Monday. And we are starting to look at warmer temperatures, potential for lower humidity, and the potential for those winds to move around to the east and blow offshore, which tends to bring us a little bit warmer and drier air. The most important thing I want to emphasize at this point, we do not see anything close to a repeat of the early September event that actually helped spread these fires rapidly west, but we'll be keeping a very close eye on it. So that's it for your weather. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Good evening, Stuart Turner, Fire Behavior. So as a fire behavior analyst, I predict what the fire is going to do, where it's going to go, and how fast it's going to get there. So as you heard from the meteorologist, we have a lot of weather coming in over the next 24 hours, and it's going to make for a complex fire behavior day tomorrow. The thing we do know in the early morning hours, when we first get out there on the fire line, we're going to have moist conditions because we have good overnight humidity recovery. So that's going to moisten the fuels and just keep everything in the smoldering category. The unknowns start to come in the afternoon. We know the humidity is going to come down to where it's going to be at a point where we can support some burning. And then the winds are going to come in to help enhance that burning. So I'm expecting to see the smoldering progress to creeping, and we'll probably see some low to moderate fire behavior activity around the fire tomorrow. There's a good probability we'll see an increase in the perimeter tomorrow. Not thinking miles, I'm thinking more of feet, not even tens of feet, but just several feet of perimeter growth. The burn period tomorrow is going to be very short, 3, maybe 4 hours. So it's going to be a struggle for the fire behavior to really increase and start moving around on us. So it's going to be a complex weather day. It's going to be interesting to see how that fire is going to respond to all that wind with that humidity where it's sitting at tomorrow. So let's take a look at the infrared map from last night. So this is an infrared photograph taken at night from an aircraft passing over the fire. And what they developed for us is the perimeter. You can see the blue. Let me get a pen here. You can see the blue. That's the fire perimeter, the fire edge. The little red dots, see up here, the isolated heat sources around the fire. If you look at that, you see a lot less heat sources out here on the eastern side than we had on last night's, or 2 nights ago, IR. Then the yellow shaded areas are the scattered heat. So there's heat out there, there's fire out there, still burning. The white, big white patches you see scattered around, that's cloud cover. So the interpreter couldn't see through those clouds very well. They can see some stuff, but they can't see everything. So they delineate that for us on the photograph so we know that they may have had some issues seeing through those cloud covers. So let's take a look at what we have here. Like I said, a lot less heat on the east side tonight, so that's good. That's a good thing for us. The wind's going to come in tomorrow on the west southwest. So what that means for us is this line perimeter down here, the wind's going to be very favorable because it's going to push back into the black. However, the wind up here is not going to be so favorable because it's going to push out of the black. So anything that ignites or spots or wants to move is going to go out of the black and cause some perimeter growth that happens. So as we look around the fire, you can see some areas that will have some issues or could have some issues with that wind. And they're scattered around, and even if you zoom in, you'll see little spots here and there where we might have adverse wind to our line. And that's one of the things we look at is where is that adverse wind and line aligned with heat. So we watch that to make sure we don't have any problems getting across. Get rid of those. So my big concern is going to be over in this area for tomorrow and up in here. Those areas have been moving a little bit each day, and I think we may see some of that activity pick up tomorrow. So let's see if we can't zoom in on the southeast corner there and tip that a little bit. There you go. Very good. Let me get my pencil back, maybe. There we go. So you can see way over here, we start to get some heat right along the edge of the fire line or the perimeter. And if this is active, and the wind starts blowing on it and starts to move it, we may see some perimeter growth in those areas. And that's what we're looking at. We also look for areas like this where this and this and this are downslope, where with a little bit of wind enhancement, we will start to see movement upslope towards our perimeter here. Things we don't want to see, but we may have to take action on. So that's what we're looking for around the fire perimeter tomorrow, is where are our weaknesses at? Where can we watch and rapidly deploy maybe a helicopter to help put that fire down and keep it from crossing the perimeter. And I'll be around for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. We've had a couple questions tonight about the Dowdy fire, and I think we've shared in the comments here a link to the new Clackamas County Fires Facebook page, which will have more information on their fires there. So we encourage you to follow that resource. One of our other questions this evening was about the unburned fuels within the fire's perimeter up on the northeast corner of the fire, and if there were any concerns to the local community in that area. So I'll have Jake Nettle come back up to address that.
All right, so Jake Nuttall again. And so what we'll do is we'll just really address this northern area, right? So based off of what Stu just showed you from the heat signatures, based off that IRM map, you could see within these areas, all through here, there's just little signatures. And you know, the comment about some of the unburned fuels within the fire perimeter, that is something that we continually watch. From an aviation side of things, you'll see unburned, what we call green islands. It's just really a island, something like that. And then all the outer edge would be black, right? So from the incident itself, from the fire itself, everything would be charred or burned out of that. So what you would end up having, let me actually point this out. Okay, so let's say we had a little burned island like that, and we actually had some interior stuff burning, right? So essentially, this thing, this unburned island would have fire all the way around it. There would be some smoldering. There could be some torching, like single tree torching. So almost like a tree lights up like a candle. And what that would do is that would actually could cause embers to go up in the air. And if we have wind carrying, that could be a threat to our line. Right now, everything that we're seeing is well interior, and that we don't see anything that is going to be a direct threat to any of our direct hand lines or direct dozer lines. So those lines that are right on the edge. So essentially within this area, this northeast corner, this northwest corner, some of this area into here, all the way to that direct edge, we're not seeing any, we're feeling really comfortable. Let me put it that way. We're feeling really comfortable right now to be able to start showing a lot more containment as we come across this. Our expectation is really on this western side of the fire, we're actually going to be able to establish a lot more containment line over the next 2 to 3 days. So essentially, this area, we're starting to feel really good. We're going to keep our crews, we're going to keep our engines continuously working in these areas just to mop up, make sure that all of our edges are good and tight. That way we can just leave a few people back to monitor those areas. So I think that addresses the question. So thank you.
Thanks, Jake. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this evening's update. We do plan to take tomorrow off. We'll continue to post updates on INSEWeb for that information, but we plan to have another evening update on Thursday night. So please feel free to give us a call if you have any questions in the meantime. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.